Hey everyone, welcome to KIN 557 fitness testing and exercise prescription for special populations. My name is Dr. Stephen Waite. I will be your instructor these next 8 weeks. I'm going to go ahead and take you through the first week module online. So as you watch this video, if you will pull up your computer and log into Blackboard and go to our homepage. I will take you through everything. There is an introductory video discussing how to navigate pages online, so you can access that as well. But I thought I would just kind of explain everything and tell you how I'm going to approach this class and what to pay attention to. The first thing on the home page is you'll see my announcements. If you look, I will be posting announcements every week. So for week one, I told you what to do, what to expect on Monday. So make sure you read that. You should have already looked over that and started accessing the course materials, reading the syllabus. You should have bought your textbook and your supplies by now for the course. So make sure that you're paying attention to those announcements and keeping up on those. I sent out a video about delaying this video, so apologize for this being delayed. But each week I'll have a video like this that you can watch, and I'll kind of discuss or just highlight what materials we're going to be going over, so you know what to do. So if you go to on the left-hand column, you'll see there's a home button, getting started, syllabus. So you can click on the syllabus and read through all the activities and see the course calendar and all that, and what's expected of you. The discussion boards, you can click directly on those. Each week you're going to have discussion boards. So if you go ahead and click on that, you'll see the first discussion is on reflection 1. There's only a few reflections, so we're doing 4 throughout the course. Reflection 1 is on your introduction and importance of health history. It says on there that you need to post by Thursday. Yeah, that's bold-faced on there, so you got a couple days to get this done. 350 to 500 words is the range. And then you have to view and respond in the discussion to 2 other classmates by Sunday. Okay, and the responses need to be between 150 and 300 words. Now, if you go back to the left-hand column, you click on learning activities. This is where you're going to find everything that you need for each week. So you can see the student responsibility agreement that you're supposed to fill out. That's the first thing to click on. The next thing was week 0, which you had access to last week. So you'll see on week 0 it says before class begins. It gives you a little welcome, and it says read and review. You need to read the syllabus and resources, and then complete. You need to complete these activities, buy the textbook and the supplies, and create your YouTube account. So you should have already done that last week. Now this week, we're looking at health risk appraisal. That's the theme of the week. It tells you what to do on each week. So it says read and view. So the syllabus weekly overview, chapter 1, which is on health, fitness, and performance. I'll discuss that a little bit in a minute. Chapter 2, health risk appraisal, and then chapter 26 is on legal considerations. So those are your chapter readings for this week that you need to go through. I will highlight them in this video, but the expectation is that you actually read through those chapters. There are PowerPoints provided for you to follow along with as well that highlight all that content, okay? Now, what do you need to complete this week? You'll see under complete, it says quiz 1. So you need to get that done by Sunday. The reflection, which I just mentioned earlier, that is due Thursday. And then your responses to 2 others are due by Sunday. And then your critical assignment preparation, or CAP is what we call them. CAP 1 on health history and target population is due on Sunday as well. So go ahead and click on the week 1 link. And you'll see that each week you'll get access to these, and you'll be able to click on them. Now, once you're in the week, the first thing is week 1 overview. Again, same material that I just listed is there, and this video is provided underneath that. So that's where you'll find these videos on the overview. The next section is read and view, and I provide the PowerPoints for each chapter that you need to look through. And this is where these videos will be located on the read and view. The next activity is the quiz. So when you're ready to take the quiz, once you've gone through the learning materials and read the text, you can click on the quiz. I'll go ahead and do that now. If you click on it, down at the bottom right, it says begin. It tells you the instructions. It says that, so quizzes will be a combination of true, false, and multiple choice questions worth 30 points. So you're going to have 30 questions. You can use your book and your notes. So obviously this is online. You have access to your text and your notes, but you have a 60-minute limit. So you have basically 2 minutes per question, okay? When you're done with the test, make sure that you click save and submit, okay? And that should send you back to the Blackboard page, and you'll be able to see your results, okay? Reflection 1, there's a explanation of what to do there, gives you a little welcome and explains what these reflections are. So please make sure you read the description and have your reflections submitted to the link by Thursday. And Thursday is the 29th. So make sure you have it in by the 29th before 11:55 p.m. The next big assignment for the week is the critical assignment preparation. There's a video tutorial on this, so make sure you watch that. Our course designer, he provided the explanation on how to perform these, so make sure you watch that video, and then you go through and read the description and the instructions, and submit this, okay? So it says that for the CAP, you have to fill out all the forms that are included. You have to film yourself measuring height, weight, and resting heart rate. And then you will complete and attach an Excel data card, and as well as write a 1 to 2 page paper that clearly identifies and describes your findings, okay? And again, the criteria for that is above. So make sure that you get into this early and start working on it, because it's going to take some time. There's a lot of detail to these assignments, okay? Below this, there's some instructions on how to video record yourself. Please make sure that you read through this. It's really essential that you set this up properly. It asks that you do it in landscape view. So right now I'm doing this video not in landscape view, so this would not be appropriate for recording for your CAP, okay? So make sure you turn your phone sideways if you're using a phone. If you're using a laptop or something like that, it traditionally goes straight to landscape view, okay? Okay, so that's basically everything that's due for week 1. If you have questions about this, shoot me an email, or make sure you refer back to the instructions. It's very clearly written out on what you need to do, so hopefully that is clear for you. Now, if you would, go ahead and pull up the first PowerPoint. I'm going to just briefly describe some of what we're going to be going through. I'm not going to go through all this word for word, because there's 24 slides, and that would make a very, very long video. And I have 3 of these PowerPoints to just discuss with you. So I'm just going to kind of highlight some things and then move on to the next one, okay? And then I'll leave it up to you to go through the reading and to finish the PowerPoints and so forth. So the first one, Chapter 1, very basic intro to health, fitness, and performance. The first slide just kind of gives you an outline of what to expect in this PowerPoint. We're looking at physical activity requirements, what are the main causes of death, physical activity and health outcomes, the evolution of physical activity guidelines. So how's that change? Like, what are the requirements? What does ACSM say about, how much time should we be exercising per day, per week, so forth, intensity and all that. Fit versus fat in relation to chronic disease. So what's the difference between fitness versus BMI or body composition, and how does that relate to chronic disease? So for instance, there's like that term like skinny fat. Like someone could be skinny but unfit, and they can still be unhealthy. So really, we're looking at like fitness level. We don't want to like just focus on how much fat mass do you have, like that. Yes, it's important, but it shouldn't be the focus of our goal in fitness. We should be focusing on improving cardiovascular performance or cardiorespiratory fitness, muscular strength and endurance, muscular flexibility. So these are things that we should really be highlighting, not just what's your fat percentage, okay? And then the last thing that this chapter highlights is health and performance-related fitness components. So for instance, I'll go ahead and talk about those first. your health-related fitness components are the ones I just described. So cardiorespiratory fitness, so performance of the heart and lungs to provide oxygen to active tissue. That's like the most important aspect of our lives, right? We need oxygen to breathe and function. Then there's muscular strength and muscular endurance. And then there's muscular flexibility. And then body composition. So looking at fat mass versus muscle mass, okay? The skill or performance related, or also known as skill related components, those off the top of my head, I think there's 6 of them. So you've got like coordination, speed, power, agility, balance, and reaction time. Okay. And some of those are kind of more like genetically driven, like, reaction time. Someone can be naturally have a fast reaction time, but you can also train it to some degree. So all those can be improved through performance, but most of those are related to just performing like a certain activity, okay? And they don't really directly impact our health, okay? So goal for us is to focus on the health aspect. So exercise program goals, that's kind of like the first thing to focus on. We want to achieve good health, and through that we want to avoid chronic disease. That's the main priority. Next priority is just looking at improving fitness, okay? And then once our fitness increases, we'll eventually move on to looking at just performance in an activity. The things to focus on are manipulating the frequency, duration, intensity, and the type of exercise that we do. And that's going to be based on what the individual's goals are. So it kind of breaks down the difference between health and fitness. Talks about health, like aiming towards more like moderate intensity exercise just to achieve daily movement and physical activity, versus fitness. You're going to need to incorporate more vigorous activity. You want to jack that heart rate up and sustain it at a higher level, and you're going to do it less times per week because it's going to be more taxing on the body. You're going to need more recovery. Whereas a health perspective, you could do moderate intensity activity for 30 minutes a day, 5 days a week, and be able to sustain that for a lifestyle. All right, talks about what the different needs are. There's a nice little diagram going from moderate or lower to moderate intensity exercise, from like avoidance to disease to the fitness level to the performance, and it kind of breaks down the frequency, intensity, time, and type of exercise as an example there. Then it goes into talking about the leading causes of death in the U.S. Number 1 is still heart disease, which is directly related to how active we are and what we put in our bodies, right? And how we treat our body. Cancers is typically the second cause, followed by respiratory diseases, accidents, and then stroke. The behavioral causes of death, the things that we can prevent. Number 1 thing to avoid is smoking. It decreases respiratory output or intake, and also can lead to cancer, which are 2 of the top leading causes of death in the U.S. Poor diet and physical inactivity, also known as being sedentary, that's the next big issue. So too much sugar intake and not enough activity leads to diabetes. So type 2 diabetes can develop because of improper insulin stimulation and activity. So that's the next concern, and then that's followed by alcohol consumption. Too much alcohol is bad on the body as well. So other chronic disease risk factors, inherited. There are some inherited factors. Genetics does play a role. Environmental, and then of course behavioral being probably the most common issue leading to chronic disease. There's a breakdown of this in there. It talks a lot about self-care, how to achieve physical activity. So I'm just going to kind of skip through some of these. It gives a little guideline on the years on which the guidelines to improve intensity for health were achieved. And so it's kind of fun to kind of read through those. If you go down to like slide 18 in the PowerPoint, talks about the ACSM, that when they established their recommendation of 30 minutes a day of moderate, or 30 minutes a day for 5 days of moderate activity, or 20 minutes 3 days a week of vigorous activity, which that was officially submitted in the 2008 physical activity guidelines for Americans, and that's still the standard today. Okay, so I'm gonna drop out of this PowerPoint. The rest of it just kind of goes into the effect of fitness, fat levels. There's some kind of some neat charts on there, and then at the end it highlights those components of fitness that I already discussed. So if you pull up chapter 2, chapter 2 is looking at health risk appraisal. So the goal here is to be able to evaluate health status. So how do we do that? Looking at fitness standards and how to screen someone for their fitness level going into a program. Pre-activity screening. There's a Mr. Please acronym highlighted in here. Looking at cardiovascular, pulmonary, and metabolic disease signs and symptoms, how to screen for those, identify them, and then address them for a client who's, especially because this class we're looking at designing fitness programs for individuals, right? And so we want to test people's fitness levels and we want to develop their fitness so they can improve. But we're also looking at special populations, and those special populations are going to include people who are overweight, like obesity. It's going to include people with type 2 diabetes, maybe someone with a heart condition like heart disease. It could be someone who experienced stroke. There's so many factors that can play into this, maybe an amputee. And so those are things that you want to screen for, which makes this chapter really important on understanding how to identify those health status concerns. So it talks about like the different screen activities. I'm going to skip down to slide 4. It says pre-activity screening. So the first step is to screen the individuals. You always do that to make sure there are no heart conditions and so forth. Identify chronic diseases, especially CVD, cardiovascular disease. You want to pick that up before you start exercise. The Mr. Please acronym stands for make a clear decision. So the M is make a clear decision regarding if the subject is a regular exerciser or not. So you'll ask them that question. The R is review medical history for established cardiovascular, metabolic, or renal disease. P is pertinent signs and symptoms for CV, metabolic, renal disease. L is level of desired aerobic exercise intensity that they should be achieving for the program to help them improve, but also not go too fast to risk something bad happening. E is establish if medical clearance is necessary. So if they have a pre-existing heart condition, you would want to send them to their doctor to get cleared before they move on to an exercise program with you. That's a liability concern. A is administration and evaluation of fitness tests. S is setup of exercise prescription. And then E is evaluation of progress with follow-up tests. So great acronym to stick to. Learn this, know this, do this with clients. Okay. So for example, I've been working as a personal trainer and a certified strength coach for a number of years, and I still follow that same protocol with every client, even if they're a really fit athlete coming to me wanting to improve their fitness. I still follow that protocol just to make sure that there are no underlying risk factors that haven't been identified previously. So it's going to go on to give you some examples of pre-activity questionnaires. The PAR-Q is the first one. The HSQ is another one for looking at specific health concerns. So you're going to fill both of these out for the CAP. So become familiar with those, download those online and start working through them. So it talks about what is the benefit of these pre-activity questionnaires. The big thing is helping to determine whether medical clearance is needed and identifying risk factors before you start them in an exercise program. Then it's going to go through and give you an explanation of each step of the Mr. Please. And I'm going to skip through those. You can read those word for word. There's some great information on for like how to address each step and what to do. So please take some time to look through those. In the last couple of slides, just look at fitness program decisions, when to require your client to go see a physician and get clearance and what that means. the referral process, and then identifying CVD risk factors. Okay, so that's chapter 2. Make sure you go through the reading on that. The last chapter is 26 on legal considerations. This refers to chapter 2 on the liability aspect. The things being highlighted here are injury claims and causes, the law and legal system, fault basis of tort liability. If you don't know what that is, start here. There's some definitions in here to read. Really important aspects of this. 4 elements to prove negligence. Contract law, determining duty, and the last thing is risk management. So I'll let you go through and read through this. It's really interesting. It starts off with just like the different lawsuits that have occurred with clients and fitness professionals and facilities. Really fascinating. How, I don't know if fascinating is the right way to put this, sad that these cases had to take place, and it's because proper screening didn't occur, which is why it's so important that you take adequate steps to screen individuals and protect yourself as a fitness professional, but also to protect them from having some type of episode that could be life-threatening and life-ending. Okay, so all right, so it starts off with cause of injury and negligence. I'm not going to read it all word for word. I'll let you go through and discuss it. Primary and secondary sources, criminal law, what the civil law states, what tort and contract law are. So tort refers to the conduct that amounts to legal wrong and causes harm on which courts can impose civil liability. And contract is the agreement that is enforced by the court. I always recommend that and the text will go over this, that you set up a contract with your client, basically having them sign away their release of liability, stating that you're going to state in there that I screened this individual. They know the inherent risk of exercise. I did not see any underlying issues, or if you did, you sent them to the doctor, and then you have a paper contract from their doctor or a copy from the doctor showing that they're able to exercise and so forth. So these are really important to take these steps, have a contract, have them sign it, protect yourself. Okay, so I'll let you read through the rest of these. There's some interesting facts about here and some tips on how to develop contracts and how to protect yourself and your clients. So that is the reading material for this week. I hope you enjoy it, dig into it. It's a good place to get started. Start working on your reflection. Get that posted by Thursday. I will be monitoring those and reviewing them and giving feedback as the week progresses. So keep an eye out for that. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to shoot me an email. Otherwise, I will see you in the forums in the reflections. All right. Bye for now.